What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Sunday. Welcome to another Vampy Book Club. You guys know what this is already. Yeah, we're gonna be going over. Actually, we're gonna be going over this issue 6. And if you guys didn't know, I have my main man right here with me, Del Man. What's going on, Del?
What up?
Yeah.
What up? Deli
So
man in the house.
yeah, and then so we're going over issue 6. So let's pull this issue up. And let's get this show on the road. Issue 6, if you guys didn't know, is done by one of the artists called Ken Kelly. And then if you guys didn't know who Ken Kelly is actually related to Frank Frazetta by marriage, and he's his nephew by marriage. So but he's related to his wife's side of the family. So, but and he studied. So what I've read about Ken Kelly, he studied under Frank. So like he came over and actually sat there and watched Frank, I guess, paint or whatever. But Frank, like how Sarah talked about, Frazetta or whatever, he never really taught anybody. He really just showed you. So I'm guessing Ken Kelly came over a couple times, showed him he showed him a couple things. And the story goes about issue 6 was, I think Frazetta couldn't do the issue or something like that. So he gave it to Ken Kelly to do. And then Ken Kelly ended up doing it. And then what was it? Ken Kelly ended up drawing it, but this is one of his first. So if you're a Ken Kelly fan, if you're a fan of Ken Kelly, or you don't know who Ken Kelly is, if you guys know who the band Kiss was, he actually did the I forgot the album name, but it has Detroit Rock City on the album. So, but he did the artwork for that one. So he did that artwork for that album. So he did that artwork for that album. But you guys we would have ended up getting a Frazetta one if Kiss actually paid him decently. So that's why Ken Kelly actually got it. So a lot of that work is because of Frank turning it down and passing it on to him. So, but this is one of his first works in comics in general. So if you're a Ken Kelly fan and you want his something like his very first thing that he's done in comics, pretty much issue 6, Vampy issue 6 is his first thing. But there's a funny story about this cover too. I've told many people about this. Dell's even known about this story. I've even told Sarah about the story. Sarah didn't know this story originally, so I've read about it, and I think in an article or in a book or whatever I have. So I had read where Ken Kelly had came over one night before sending this out. Came over one night, showed it to Ellie and Frank. Frank looked at it and goes, "Hey, the lady's face in this one doesn't show enough emotion in it, or doesn't show enough surprise of seeing the creature." So he just yanks it out of Ken Kelly's hand and takes it to his diesel and freaking, I guess, scrapes that face right off and paints right over it, and paints a whole new face on her. And then if you guys don't know who these gentlemen are, I actually have a picture of all three with his wife on here together, a young picture of them. So Ken Kelly's Ken Kelly's on the left, Frank's in the middle, and then that's his wife Rose at the end in this picture, and them sitting around Frazetta Originals.
Yeah, I'm looking up as you're talking about this. Like Ken Kelly he did several albums.
Yeah,
for several musicians or bands, not just Kiss. He did
right.
so the album you're referring to is called Destroyer.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, and he did another one called Love Gun for another album called Love Gun by Kiss. So, but then he also did a few other ones. He did several for a band called Man of War.
Yeah.
There's a few bands too. So it wasn't just one. It was like he did like 20, I think. No, not.
Yeah, but not only that, but he did 60 something covers for Warren. So he did like 69 give or take 69 covers. So there's a bunch of vampy ones and there's a bunch of creepy ones. But this is his very first one in general of comics, and the first one that he did for vampy was this cover here.
Mm.
And then here's the picture. Like I said, I actually found this picture online and shared it with Sarah, and then Sarah shared it with everybody else in the Frazetta in the Frazetta zeitgeist.
So which one in this picture? Which one's a Ken Kelly painting? Because I
none of them are Kelly's. They're all Franks.
You saw Frank's. Okay,
they're all Franks. They're just sitting. They're just sitting in, and they just took a photo.
Okay, just sitting together in the same room. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So like I said, the left is Ken Kelly, middle is Frank, and then the end is his wife Rose.
Frazetta's wife?
No.
Ken Kelly's wife.
Ken Kelly's wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So Frank's wife probably took the picture. Ellie probably took the picture. So, but if you see, it's a sea witch, and then it's his it's the caveman one that I showed you guys last week behind here, and then his three Conans down here, and and this one right here. Ellie hates this his wife hated this one because he painted a devil character or whatever, but she hated it, so she would never let Frank actually put it up.
Which one's that? Which painting is this? The
one right above Kelly's head.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, and that one would always end up in his studio on his easel, because Ellie would always pull it down and put it on his easel because he would not let Frank put it up. So this is rare to see this thing actually up.
That's funny.
Yeah, because I learned this one from Sarah. Like Sarah told me about this before, and it's this painting here that she didn't like they said if they ended up putting it up in either museum, Ellie would haunt that museum for life because Ellie just does not like that picture at all.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's the funniest story. And then look, and then here's the Molly Hatchet record cover right here in Rose's corner.
Okay.
Like in that little corner right there. That's that Conan picture. Yeah, but like I said, if you guys don't know who Ken Kelly is, I mean, you've been sleeping under a rock because he's done a lot of album covers, like Deli Man was telling us. He's done a lot of album covers, but he's known for album covers. He's known for even doing Star Wars. He's did Star Wars covers too. He's done a lot of stuff in comics. But the one thing I didn't know was he was related to Frazetta. That's the one thing I didn't know. And I don't think you knew that either. So
no, I didn't know they're like cousins or something like that, right?
Yeah. What it says in the books and stuff, it says that he's his nephew or something like that. But I don't think so. I think he's what Sarah had explained. I think it's their cousin. So how Sarah explained it, they're cousins or something like that. So it's on Grandma's side. So they're related from Grandma's side. So Grandma's name was originally Ellie Ken Kelly. So yeah. So that was interesting to find out. And he was in the Marines. He was part of the military. So when he got back from the military, this was the first thing he's done for work, I guess, was art. So he went to study under Frank for a couple of years. He did about 69 covers for Warren, and then he branched out after that, I think. That's what I read up about him, but yeah. So that's what the story behind this cover is. The famous story behind this cover is that I heard from some of Frazetta's friends that knew him, and knew Ken Kelly. Ken Kelly never forgave him for freaking for taking the face off of this girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's not because it's not 100%. It's not 100% Ken Kelly painting.
Yeah.
It's like
So
90%.
yeah. But but a lot of the friends said Ken Kelly never forgave him because Ken Kelly just walked over there to say, "Hey, show Frank, hey, look what I did." And then first thing Frank goes, "She doesn't look she doesn't look scared enough." So he takes the painting and he just scrapes that paint right off and freaking paints it right over him. And then come to find out, the original actually sold. So I actually have I pulled it up from Heritage here. So give me a second. Let me pull that up. And that's it right here. Yeah.
All right, and what's the date on that?
It is 2000 and I forget. I think it was 2012, I think.
Yeah, 2012. Okay, yeah, December 2012
Yeah.
for $11,500.
Yeah, but Ken Kelly was still here. Because Ken Kelly passed or what was it? Way after this. Like early or like 2000, I forgot. But yeah, but Ken Kelly passed it and then yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't popped up again. But there's a bunch of there were a bunch of Ken Kellys earlier this week too. A bunch of Ken Kellys popped up and a bunch of Frazetta stuff popped up on Heritage. So there's a bunch of stuff for sale right now. Frazetta and Ken Kelly.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like I said, like dude, the original and then plus, so imagine the person that owns it. So that if they didn't know the story, it's actual half of Ken Kelly and half of Frank. So the face is Frank's, and then everything else is Ken Kelly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I love that. That's not, dude. That's freaking a lot of freaking money for a original Vampy cover, man. And that's not the only that's not the only cover I've seen on Heritage either.
Well, we've seen a lot more. It's like shit. We've seen other ones that go for a lot more.
Yeah.
On there, so
yeah.
So it's just pretty interesting too. So it's like was it last week's or something like that? It was like one like over $100,000.
Yeah. It was yeah. I think it was over over 100,000 last week's. Yeah. It was over 100,000, I think. Actually, let me pop it back up and we can find out if I can find it in my files again.
Yeah, but so this one only going for 11,000. It seems like it was the lowest one of the ones that we showed so far. That was sold in auction.
Yeah, see, so this one is number 3. Yeah. So number 3 sold for that. So and this is number 6. Well, that's what number 6 sold for.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like over 10 times, a little over 10 times the amount.
Yeah, but imagine if it went up now. If it went up now, if this one went up now, I think it would go for a little way more.
Yeah, it'll probably go for over 100,000 at least.
Yeah. But because but and then the main reason this one went for so much was because the last artist on this thing passed. That's the main reason it probably hit the amount it did. Yeah, and then let's see, there I do got other ones on here. Oop. I do have other ones that I looked at. So let's see. I think that's the highest one, I think. What I'm not sure what this is. Aha. Yep, that's the cover 2. Cover 2 didn't sell for much either.
Yeah. 1,100. Very low.
Oh yeah, but don't forget, cover 2 got sold twice, you remember?
Yeah, didn't sell for more the second time around.
I think it sold for more the second time, or less. I think it was less, or it got bought for less. I think something like that.
Yeah, no, I think it sold for more.
No, yeah, see, I told you.
It
went for less. That's what it was. It went for less. So from from this, you know what I mean? From number 3 going for this. From number 2 selling twice. going for 1,000. The first time going for 1,000. Second time going for $900. That's a big difference. But at least this one went for that, and it hasn't popped up again. So I'm guessing he was either a fine art fan or a Ken Kelly fan or a Frazetta fan, either or. But said a lot of people. I think a lot of people back then didn't know about it. So or maybe knew about it or not. But now more people know about it. They might ask for more. You know what I mean? They might pay more for it now, since they know the story now. But it was cool, man. It was cool to look this stuff up.
Yeah, I think it'll sell for more too, because knowing that it's Ken Kelly and that he's related to Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, now that people that didn't know.
Yeah, now especially art collectors and knowing that Frank Frazetta
had a hand in it.
Exactly. That he painted the face of the girl in the picture, in the painting there. So and then everything else is Ken Kelly. So I'm sure it'll go for at least 10 times more than what it.
Sold. 10 times. Yeah, 10 times more now if it ever pops up again.
Yeah.
But you never know, because I got keywords in Heritage right now. Vampy, Frazetta. You know what I mean? So if it ever pops up, I'll let you guys know, whatever it goes for. But it's interesting just to see stuff, just to see stuff go. But it's always cool. We actually ended up reading the first story. What did you think of Jerry? What the heck? I couldn't get the dude's last name. I knew it was Jerry something, but I can't. His freaking last name drove me nuts trying to figure out how to say it.
Oh, his last name? Yeah. It's like that's Grandinetti. Grandinetti. Looks like his last name.
But he did a lot of war covers. What I've researched, he's done like a lot of war, like the war ones, like the DC war books, like war mystery war or war. Those books, like Sergeant Theories and stuff like that. And he's done a lot of war and stuff. I read it, and then I read most of it. It was like but his female in it is actually, I like how his female looks.
Yeah, the artwork overall I think is pretty decent, very much for the time period, very similar to some of the other people I've seen draw stuff for that time period. Yeah, it's the artwork isn't bad. It's not bad at all. It's very something I expect from that time period. Story, it looks like it was written by Gardner Fox.
What did you think about Gardner's writing in this? I'm curious because I had.
I thought it was okay for this story. It's like so. Yeah, it's the story for what it is. Like, pretty much like almost writing a story about a man who goes overboard from a ship, a cruise liner that was cruising the ocean, and ends up in some random island. And while he was on his way to get to that island, there's a female from the island trying to tell him, "Hey, don't go."
Right.
Because it looks like the person that's in charge of the island, called Circle, it's almost like a Medusa type.
Oh yeah.
That's the best way I could describe her.
Right.
It's like a Medusa type in a way, but she like has like makes love to the person and then turns them into a boar, like a wild boar. So but it's like almost like the so, and in order for the person to go back to their human states, they have to eat like a special herb or plant, to go back, and that's where the woman that was originally trying to save him feeds him that herb or some leaves or something like that. Like, hey,
but you pretty much see the guy turning into a boar here.
Yeah,
so that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
at least Jerry did it in there where you could actually see him morphing back into the human.
Yeah, he's morphing back into a human just so he could escape again.
Right.
Only it was just interesting. It's like only for him they're swimming away, only to end up dead somewhere else.
Right.
Like they drowned somewhere else, both of them. But yeah, it was an okay story. It was an okay.
It was okay. Yeah, I thought it was okay too.
Yeah.
But for the time period, it was a pretty decent story.
Yeah. Good.
For the time period, it was pretty good. But art wise, I give the art for a decent grade though. Art wise, I give it a pretty decent grade, man. Jerry's art was I actually enjoyed Jerry's art in this one. You know what I mean? It wasn't too cartoony. It wasn't too it wasn't too it actually fit. You know what I mean? You know how sometimes when they write stories, sometimes the art doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he said he drew pretty well. Like even
right.
The man, the man, the woman,
the
women in there and stuff like that too. It's like
right.
So he even the animals and stuff like that, like the boar and then like the serpent as well. So it wasn't bad. It was like it drew pretty nicely. Even the vampy in the beginning and the end.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, Jerry did the same thing. Mike Royer didn't give her a nose either. Just gave her two holes.
Yeah, but it wasn't too bad of a.
No, it wasn't too. But his art wasn't too bad either.
Yeah.
So his art wasn't too bad. So what do you grade the story?
The story, it was okay. It was so. I'll give it kind of like a 6.9.
6.9.
Yeah, it's like because at least it still kind of made sense overall.
Right.
Overall made sense that so for as short of a story as it was, it made sense. So it wasn't terrible. So it wasn't like the one story that.
Last week with the cat. Last week with the cat.
With the cat. What? So this was a little bit better. So this was at least it made sense. So
it upgraded.
yeah. Because
it upgraded. It upgraded, but you gave it like a 6.5. You said 6.5, right?
6.9.
6.9. Then I'll give it a 6.5. I mean, I was gonna give it a 5 originally, but and then you explaining it, and then me looking at it again, like re-looking at it again, gave the score a little. I gave a score a little higher because actually reading the one from last week and then comparing from this week story, I'm like, okay, it's a lot better. Comparing it. But what do you grade the art?
The art's pretty good. I give the art like a solid 7.
Solid 7.
Yeah,
I'll give the art the art wise, but like a 7. But her females are at least 8, because at least you could tell it's a female.
Yeah, good.
You know what I mean? I'll give his females a 8, but everything, art wise, 7's a pretty decent one. So and then like I had a chance to actually look through most of the stories in this one. So most of it was almost like if you Beauty and the Beast or Be Careful of Beautiful People, because you never know if they're dangerous or not. Pretty much what all these stories were based off of. Like you've read most of them, so that's pretty much what most of the stories were pretty much. Like the brothers, like the second story we got to.
Yeah, brothers. Brothers' death. That one's like definitely was another one like a woman leading a man into danger.
Mm-hmm.
But at least this one, like this one's a little different. So it's a story by Nicola Cuddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like art by Jack Sparling.
Yeah.
So the story with this one is like it looks like it's a woman.
Right.
That's kind of like obsessed with death in a way.
Right.
And she goes and meets the five brothers of death, or 4 brothers of death.
So it was pretty much the 4 what was it? The 4 horsemen type thing. Pretty much.
It's like
when I read it. Yeah. when I read it.
exactly. That's all I was thinking of too. There was like a four horsemen because
Yeah.
there's like a talk about river of souls and
All right.
like, they're feeding almost like this weird blob demon character
Right. Right.
also, and that not to go into the river because you get dragged into it as
Right.
well. But then like the one brother that's in love with this woman wants to go and save her because she fell into the river of souls,
Right.
and so it's very like the four horsemen going in. And it's like, all
Yeah.
right. It's like the other three are saying, it's like, look, you shouldn't just let her be, and they're like, but I'll stand by you. No, if you're gonna go, I'll go with you.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. Just by reading most of it, man, I'm like, I actually enjoyed the story. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I enjoyed it a little bit more too because it's like it
Right.
shows it's almost like a I
Romeo.
guess
It was the four, like what I got gathered from it. It was four horsemen type story type ish, and then it was like almost Romeo and Juliet type thing, where the
yeah
brothers where the brothers didn't want him to go into the river for her. So it's like, yeah, I can see, you know what I mean? Almost Romeo. They're not supposed to be together and stuff like that. But I mean, the artwork wise, art is. I thought it was amazing for what it was.
yeah. I thought the art was a little bit better on this
Yeah,
one
yeah,
too. I did like the story too because it was like because it shows to me it shows like all right the man going after his woman no matter what,
right,
and then it shows like all right kind of like like okay with the brothers like backing them up. It's like all right, well I'm gonna stand by you no matter what decision you make.
right.
It's like all right, I'll back you up on it. So it's kind of shows loyalty amongst your friends
Uh,
and family
yeah,
type of thing.
yeah. We'll
So
back you up no matter what. But
they
but
got
we told you not to. But okay.
exactly. We told you not to. You can tell your opinion about it, but I'll back
Yeah,
you up no matter what you decide to do.
right, right. But I mean, for what it was, I mean, the artwork wise, how they did the river right here, like it's the painted style here. I thought it was amazing how it was like almost like cloud, like water making a mirror out of the water. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and two females and stuff. That was interesting.
yeah, that's very cool. And I saw dug it. So like with what I would grade the artwork, I'll grade this one a little bit better than the
Right,
last one. I give it like a 7.5
right, right,
on that one because the women look like their face is a little bit more detailed, even around
right.
the
Yeah,
eyes, nose, and all that. Uh, and the story,
yeah,
yeah,
detailed wise, yeah. The
yeah,
females are a little better in this one.
yeah, and the females are detailed. Even the men,
Right,
drawing the little the horses and all that stuff. It looks cool.
right, right.
So, and I would say with when it comes to the story is pretty cool overall. It's probably one of my favorite ones so far.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll probably give this one like an 8
okay.
because the moral behind the story type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll give.
I think the story if it was like if the story was written like a one shot like a full comic book.
Yeah, yeah.
I think to give it a little bit more depth, it will probably be a little bit better.
Right, right.
Than,
I give it. I'll give the art like a 7. 7.8 because it's a little better. But the only issue I had was with both of the vampies because the vampies the faces look a little distorted. But it's supposed to. I'm assuming it's supposed to because it's supposed to look. She's supposed to look normal here, but as soon as you get to the end, where is this the end? You know what I mean?
yeah, that's the only drawback is like they look kind of. It does look kind of funny. The face looks kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only issue I had with it. But his females and the horses and stuff like that were great. Where the story wise, I'll give it about a 7. You gave it about an 8. I give it about a 7. I enjoyed it too, but I want, like you said, I wanted more. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
wanted a little more.
yeah. So and I think if it was one of those like a one shot comic book
Yeah, yeah,
type of thing, like a modern day comic book
yeah,
one
yeah.
shot, it probably had a little bit more depth because
Right.
had more panels to create, to do a little bit more character building and stuff like that.
Right. That would have been cool to find out about the like how the four brothers became the four. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or do like even a one shot like a. Or even like do like a 4 or 6 part miniseries type of thing for
Right.
the comic books to even give it more depth, So just
Yeah.
all,
More depth.
yeah. So, but other than that, still a cool story.
Yeah. Still great story and stuff. And then the next story we get to is the actual cover story of when we see the little little gnome looking guy scaring the beautiful lady.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read this one. That's
But I've read it before, and it's pretty much, and it's by the other artists that we've known from issue 2 that did the Vampy to Earth or whatever. Mike Royer again. So Mike Royer actually did the story on this one. It's pretty much talking about a magician's assistant, and a magician has two. So he actually has two assistants. He has the normal assistant, the beautiful girl, the in front wise, whatever, to be, and then he has another helper that's almost like a gremlin type looking character. Is this guy, this chubby looking guy, or this
right.
chubby looking demon or whatever.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? They end up at a show, whatever, end up practicing for the magic show or whatever. Something goes wrong, you know what I mean? And then come to find out, the actual person that the actual magic and stuff is that the actual assistant wasn't the magician, wasn't the magician at all. And then the musician got buried alive in this one. So I thought it was So I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, and then the assistant. So come to find out, the assistant or the creature actually helped the assistant out more than helping the pretty than helping out the musician the magician. My bad, guys. I can't say magician.
The Magic Man.
Yeah, the magic man. Yeah, but pretty much like all these stories is pretty much beware of the beautiful person. Pretty much, Beauty and the Beast. Some of them were like Beauty and the Beast. Some of them were more. It was more like be careful of the hot looking person. You never know what's what they're up to. Pretty much, most of the stories are. I mean, Dell read 2 stories, and pretty much that's what that's what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty much, it's like
yeah, like this one. I've read this whole thing before, so like the new girl in town is pretty much like like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing where she looks, you think she's hot, but something's wrong with her face. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's like, yeah, like her face is something wrong with it. So it's kind of funny, you know what I mean? Some of this stuff was kind of funny. But Mike's art in this one was a little better, I think. Yeah. I think the main reason Mike's art got improved was he found out whose cover it was. You know what I mean? So he had to impress. You know what I mean? So, but because I liked his art in this one better than I liked his Vampy one. So maybe he had more time with this one, but I'll give his art at least the 8 in this one, at least the 8. But I think the only issue is that actually he gave her a nose this time a little better than last time, where he only gave her nostrils. Yeah, see, yeah, so she actually has a nose in this one. So yeah, I like it. I mean, I like it a lot more.
I think the magician looks a little funny though, but
but musician looks a little fun. I just said magician. Like I said, I can't say nothing. I can't say it, but art story wise, I'll give it like probably like a 7 or 6. It was good, but I wanted more out of it. You know what I mean? I wanted a little more out of it. A little, but Yeah, but a lot of these stories are, but like we've read almost, from one all the way up to, all the way up to six. So we got we got one issue until we get back to some vampy stories. So that's gonna be fun. But most of these, like I said, most of these stories were like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, like this story here. Like this one here was almost pretty much Dracula story, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing too. Because beautiful, hot guy turns into a fucking weird looking, a vampire or whatever. But yeah, but it was, I mean, like I said, most of this stuff was pretty much and then fan art of vampies, like towards the end of the books. Another, you know what I mean? This one was, if you actually seen it in person, if you look at it, this was psychedelic type stuff. Like he's on drugs or whatever. But it was,
yeah. I can imagine if they printed that in color.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's showing you that you can order some more creepies. You can order all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Again, so, but it's pretty funny. But I enjoyed this issue. So let's get back to the cover. So what do you grade the cover, Del?
The cover, I think I do enjoy the cover a lot, especially the beast looking guy there. Being it looks almost like they're in a dark alley,
right?
Type of thing. So I'll give this one I'll say like a 9.
A 9.
A 9.
A 9.
I like it.
I agree with you. I'll give it a 9. What do you? I was gonna mess around. What do you give the girl's face?
Well, the face that was touched up by a different artist.
Yeah.
That was touched up by Frank Frazetta.
Yeah. I give the face a 10.
So, yeah, give it a 10. That's funny. I think it's very cool. It's like it's just like just to know the history behind the painting. I was like,
so
it's like 90 something percent Ken Kelly, then like 3% Frank Frazetta because he did the face, and then everything else is Ken Kelly.
Yeah. But it's just funny because imagine being Ken Kelly, bringing him the freaking art and going, "Hey, Frank, what you think?
Hey, what do you think?" I was like, "No, I don't like the face. Let me change something for you."
Yeah. Well, he didn't say he didn't like the face. He just said it didn't show enough emotion in the face. So he goes and grabs it from him. I think that's what the story goes. Is that he goes, I don't.
I don't know. It's like I just kind of like, I don't know. It's like it's to me as a human being, taking it to somebody that you look up to, like a mentor type of thing, and say, "Hey, what I did, I wrote this book. What do you think?"
Right. And then him taking the or it's like me showing you something and you going, "Hey, I don't like this, so I'm gonna erase it and change it.
And let me change a few lines of this book."
Right. Or let me tweak it.
Yeah. So it's like
So since now we have 6 issues, now we have to like we did last week. We have to rank every cover. So since we're doing that, I have the magazines in front of me, so I can always pull them up. So issue 1, I'll just do this, make us both bigger. So issue 1, hold on. Issue 1's cover, you know that. So issue 1's cover. That's issue 1. Issue 2 is the Everly cover.
Right.
So, and then issue 3 is it's the Bon Bode and then another guy's cover. But I have the 3 originals up there. These are 3 reprints.
The reprints. Yeah, the first one looked like a reprint.
Yeah, you can tell it's a reprint.
Yeah.
So the colors don't really match, but I just have them in there to fill out the box. but I have the originals. So yeah, and then but this issue 5 is the actual original. So the issue 5 cover that I really like, and then issue 6 is this cover. So now you have to rank them. Now we have to rank them. So what are you gonna rank them?
Let's see here. So I'll put issue 1 as the first one.
Okay, issue 1 is number 1.
Yeah.
So number 1.
Yeah. Then let's see here. I do like.
Oh yeah, I did forget an issue. I did forget one.
Yeah, I think you forgot to pull up 4.
Yeah, here we go. 4. Issue 4. I did forget. Yeah. 4. Yep, 4.
4, and so.
So you said you ranked, cover 1 as good, number 1 for you.
Yeah. Then I would say I don't remember what I did last week, but I would say what's that? What's issue 4? That's my number 2.
Issue 4, number 2. Okay, number 2.
Okay, and issue 2, that's my 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so now you got 3, 5, and 6.
3, 5. Then I'll put 5. Now 5, 6, and 3. That's right.
5. Okay, 5, 6, and 3.
Yeah, that's in that order. So 5.
So pretty much it's so I'll do it now. So 1.
Yep.
So 4 is number 2.
Yeah.
So your and then 3 is number 2. Number 2 is number 3.
Yeah.
And then your number what was it? That was 3, right? This is 4. So your cover 5 is number 4. And then then cover 6 is your number 5, right?
Yeah.
5, and then cover 3 is number 6.
Yeah.
So pretty much mine is pretty much cover 1. Cover 1. Mine's gonna be a little different. Just a little. So mine would be, I'm gonna do it right now. Then I'll show you guys what it is. 1. So 6, 2. So I'm gonna do mine now. So mine is gonna be number 1. It's number 1 for one of my favorites. Number 5 is number 2. Number 6 is 3. Then number 2 is it's number 4, my 4th favorite. And then number 3 is that's 5, and then number 4 is 6. That's my rating for them. So that's it. That's cool. Yeah, like art. Yeah, but I like you said, like everybody says, number 1 is iconic. So if it, number 1's iconic. So no, that's a given. That's
absolutely.
Number 4. Yeah. So, and then next week we're gonna be doing number 6. Oh no, 7.
Just did 6 today.
Yeah. My days are mixing. Yeah, but it's another Frazetta cover. So, yeah. So number 6 is gonna be Sun Goddess. It's gonna be this one. So it's gonna be this issue. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. So we got 1 issue left until we get back to Vampy. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'm looking forward for you to read this one and see what you think. And then we get into another Kinkeli in 2 weeks. It's a Kinkeli cover. So the next week's one is a Frazetta cover. So we're gonna be doing this every week. We're gonna do all 113 issues, unless you guys tell us different, or unless you guys want to see something different. And we have stuff in the works, still working on it. But I'm gonna. Oh, and we may review the Vampy movie from '96. So so be on the lookout for that one, where I make Del watch the corny movie and see what he thinks.
Yeah. Well, watching cheesy movies. Actually, the funny thing is, I was was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday afternoon. I was at you know, the one LCS I like to go to in Brandon.
Yeah.
So I was we're talking about corny movies.
Right.
You know how weird that shop owner is.
Yeah.
I love the guy. He's a good guy. He's a great guy, but he's a little weird sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you know how to talk to him, you could get along with him very easily.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, because he was playing some songs, and they're on the soundtrack of a couple of movies I actually like.
Right.
So that's why cheesy movies I could deal with. I don't mind cheesy movies because I could talk to people about cheesy movies all day.
Yeah. So we'll probably do the movie in another week or so, or another 2 weeks. Well, I'll see, and then so to give you guys a little break, and then where we can make fun of the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but that's gonna be it, guys. Numbers. So we just did issue 6. We're gonna be doing issue 7 next week, and then the week after that we're doing issue 8, and that's when we get back into Vampy again. You remember, though, I told you the first how freaking hilarious that they don't get back until number 8 into Vampy, where they go all the way up to freaking seven books before they get in the when the series is called Vampirella.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Vampirella, and they only talk about it. They don't talk about it till later.
Until 8 issues in
actual Vampy story. Yeah, all the other issues she's just playing.
Co-host. Hi,
hey. Hosting the stories,
Yeah, hosting the stories and stuff like that. But next week's gonna be fun because next week's is another Frazetta cover, so that's gonna be fun. You know what I mean? Just research. I'm gonna be researching more stuff and whatever. So that's gonna be cool. If you guys been liking these, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You can always tell me what you guys want to see in the Vampy Book Club. If you guys want to see some more modern Vampy stuff, we can do that. Just let me and Del know if you guys want to in the chats, in the chat or in the description below when this thing gets goes live on my page. But like I said, this is what the Vampy Book Club is. We're gonna be going over the old school Warren magazines, all 113 issues. All 113 issues, unless Del gets bored or unless I get bored, or unless whatever happens. But we're gonna be trying to do all 113 issues. So we may have some repeats because James Warren liked to repeat stories. So, but that's what we're gonna be doing, guys. So we'll see you next week, and check you later.
Peace out.